Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading this is your mid-November reading. What do you know? You start with this Minotaur card. It says conflict, puzzle solving, and solar energy. You are a Minotaur, Taurus. You have this carp. It says advantages, keen-mindedness, and longevity. Longevity is the key word there. With Uranus back in Taurus in the middle of the month here, I think that you're going to go back to thinking about, things more long-term, long-term success, long-term growth, long-term whatever. And, that should be a focus for you because that's going to lead to the biggest benefits for you, Taurus. It's, all about freedom and creating more freedom. The card also says, you have this puzzle-solving card and this on the Minotaur, and it also says keen-mindedness on that carp. And you have the King of Swords and Queen of Swords. These are both two very keen-minded individuals. So, trusting being more logical, trusting your thoughts, things like that. You start here as you. So the first position in the Celtic Cross is how you are entering into the reading. You're entering as yourself, apparently. So the King of Pentacles is Taurus. Sorry, this is the wrong position. But you're entering into the reading as yourself. Like I said, for the next, until like April, somewhere around there. So kind of like your birth time, basically. Maybe even till May. You're going to be focused on like wealth building, financial security, things like that. I'm pretty sure it's April that Uranus goes back into Gemini. And so between now and then, again, Uranus will be in your sign. It's like I always say, it's the last hug and the kiss goodbye from Uranus in your sign for the past 8 freaking years. My watch just went off, so there you go. But for you, I would really focus on doing one thing that makes you feel more free, even if it's something very small, even if you can only give yourself 5 minutes to hide in a closet every single day. I don't care what it is. It just has to be something because whatever it is will grow over time, if you start now. So that's really what I would be focusing on with this card. Also, anything you can do to fix your financial situation. And again, we don't have to be perfect. We just have to start something. So this could be developing better habits. I don't care if it means that you save just $1 extra a week. Again, I've been begging people to just do one teeny tiny little thing because that's all we have to do. That's why, right? If we just start there, as ridiculous as $1 a week sounds, again, it will have an impact because again, we're not being required to start big right now with the astrology, and you're going to want to start now before next year, right? You have the Three of Wands as your crossing energy. Yeah, I think all the readings this year in particular for Taurus have been about you being bigger, you expanding. Maybe not literally, but, taking up more space, being brave, speaking up, sharing your thoughts, being willing to do that. Three of Wands wants you to go places you've never been before. And I'm pretty sure I've been saying to for years, it's especially for you, Taurus, it's everything you want is on the other side of something you've never done before. So... And sorry about the watch going off here. I have a squirrel that lives basically in front of my camera that I have out back, and he just runs around there all day. So that's why. But anyway, Three of Wands wants you to expand. You have this Four of Cups in the area of your thoughts or what's on your mind. It's kind of like I get a should I, shouldn't I type of energy off of the Four of Cups. Four Cups, he's getting an opportunity, but he's tried this opportunity 3 times before, and he's not accepting this new opportunity because he has failed 3 times before. But the trick with the Four Cups is that he has to, of course, apply what he learned from these 3 cups to this 1 cup, and then he will be successful. So, the Four Cups is all about realizing that you have learned the lessons you need to learn to be successful, and you just have to apply what you learned to this new opportunity. So if you're getting any opportunities that are a repeat opportunity, I would definitely give it another look with the Four Cups. And I would also say, I think you need to give yourself more credit here, Taurus, because you probably, have more than enough talent, gifts, skills, and abilities to make it successful, but you just have to apply what you learned. Next, in the area of your foundation, you have the Chariot. So it's you're changing your foundation. Literally, you have the Three of Wands as well crossing, which is, again, he's on the Three of Wands. He's standing at the top of his solid foundation, but he needs to get out into the world. He needs to go explore and things like that. Chariot is changing your foundation because he is leaving his foundation behind. He's leaving this city behind him and going in a new direction. Again, it makes perfect sense to me because of Uranus and Taurus. It's like what was once supportive for you in your life might now be preventing your freedom or might be holding you back. And again, it's all about freedom for you with Uranus and Taurus. So the Chariot, he's setting himself apart and, maybe doing something different with his life so that he can gain freedom, so that he can have the victories that he wants to have. And so I feel a lot of you kind of like need to make that move. It's interesting because we go up to the King of Swords and the Two of Swords here. The King of Swords could be like being a little bit too logical. And then we have conflict right here. The King and Queen of Swords are, I don't really like them in love, for example, because they don't see eye to eye. And I'm not saying this is love. Really, I think this is a choice or a decision that you're making in your life, because we go to the Two of Swords and she's thinking like this or that. I think the easiest thing for Taurus to realize is that like nothing right now is going to go how we think. Like anything that we're doing, anything that we're working on, we have to realize that, the things that we're doing or creating are probably going to go completely different. Or, it's like we might have a hard time guessing the outcome, and that's perfectly fine, but we just have to stay kind of like open, flexible. We have to be willing to experiment and all those other good things. And if we do that, then things will go well. Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy that you are moving past. You have this love and prosperity card and this unicorn that says good fortune and friendship on it. So some of you could be kind of like changing love as well in your life. I mean, you do have the Ten of Cups as your outcome. I don't really think you're leaving a person behind or anything, but, I do think that your ideas about love could be changing with this energy. The Queen card, you have the Queen of Swords again in the area of your closest relationships, which we'll talk about in a minute. But for whatever reason, I kind of feel like she is saying that maybe you're putting yourself first more, which is good. This has love, prosperity, good fortune, and friendship. These could be energies that you're focusing on so that you can put yourself first. And then, it's like when we focus on ourselves, then all those things right there can be a side effect of just focusing on ourselves instead of like worrying about anyone else, right? And, I feel like you're kind of doing that. You have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is, can be an admirer. I kind of feel like this is your dream changing. Because of the Three of Wands and the Chariot and the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords here, it's just like all that together, kind of says to me that you're shifting your dream. He has this fish right here in the cup, and I always say that fish might not exist. It might be part of his imagination. But what I feel like it is for you is it's like a little bit of 1 foot in, 1 foot out energy is what I'm getting off of the Page of Cups, where it's like that your dream is changing or like something that you want to create is different. But sometimes I think we hold on to the old idea as well. It's like we don't want to let it go, even though there's like something better that we could be working on, or there's like something better that we could have or create in our lives. And that's kind of the feeling I get with all this. It's almost like saying, no, you're not really letting go of a dream. It's like you are, you're going to get to the same finish line or whatever, but just the way that you're going to get there is different. And I feel that if you could realize that and be more flexible and like how you accomplish what you're accomplishing, things would probably go a lot better. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this Orphaned card and this Y card. You do have the King and Queen of Swords here and the Page of Cups in the past. So if some of you have been through a breakup or a separation recently, you could be asking why. Unfortunately, there just might not be a good reason. So sometimes I think we just have to let things go. And I do feel for some of you, this is asking you to let things go. For others, I actually kind of like feel good about this because of Uranus and Taurus. As I've been saying to you, Taurus is like the bull in the bullpen that you have to escape. Where Taurus is trapped, the bullpen, could be like past issues, past challenges, blockages, issues that your parents caused for you, all that stuff, right? And that is what you could be correcting with this energy. You have the King of Swords also in the area of the very near future. I mean, King of Swords is good. You know, he can represent knowledge and wisdom. He can represent law and order and like justice and logical thinking, and he can even represent kind of like finishing a transformation. He has these butterflies behind him, and the butterflies are like the end of a transformation. So I feel that for a lot of you, it's like saying you have the knowledge and wisdom necessary to move forward in your life at this time. So I would keep moving forward. Part of me also feels that the reading itself is encouraging you to be a little bit more flexible, which I wouldn't normally say, because if anything, the King of Swords is being too logical. And so like he just needs to be a little bit more creative, maybe, right? Which isn't necessarily flexibility, although it kind of is. But, I feel more of a need to be flexible in what you're accomplishing or what you're trying to accomplish. I feel that could be very beneficial. I feel for a long time, maybe since like 2008, I just get issues of authority here. And, I think that's another thing that Taurus is trying to escape, is things that you feel have authority over you. And that could be anything. That could be a boss. It could be your own mind. It could be a spouse, a partner, a person, whatever. And I feel that some of you are like, it's not like you're escaping authority, but I think you're changing authority. And I also think that I do this. I'm a Pisces, right? Like I give things authority all the time that like just probably don't have any authority at all. It's like I think that it, for example, I think we all think about judgments. Like we might not do something because we're afraid of a person judging us or whatever. It's like, well, now that person has authority over you, whether they do or they don't, right? You're in your head, they do. And so there's something about that popping into my head for you, Taurus, with this card. It's like you're no longer just blindly giving authority to things, or at least you shouldn't. Next, in the area of your outcome, you have this expectations card. It says hoping, waiting, yearning, longing, contemplating, observing, patience, keeping tabs, delays, or taking time. And then you have this timing card. It says time is important, not too late. Divine timing, trust timing, there is no rush, be present, and delays. Yes. A lot of people have been getting these messages that really say there is no rush, even though it feels like there is. Saturn retrograde right now. Saturn will move back into Aries in February, at the end of February. And, I don't know. Sometimes I think Saturn retrograde can make us feel like we're running out of time, or can definitely create these pressures of time. Like we want things to happen faster, or really, I think people just want something to happen right now. It's almost like we're in a time where nothing is happening. And I think people can feel that energy of, it's almost like nothing happens. Nothing ever happens. I think there's even a meme that's going around that says nothing ever happens, right? And so it's like you're trying to make something happen. Next, over the next few months, you have the Six of Pentacles, which I love in this position because it basically says you're making things happen. It's a card of planting seeds. It's a card of making progress and moving forward. It's also a card of giving to the right things and not the wrong things. He's giving to this person because this person returns the favor. This person might not. And, again, that's why he's giving to this person here. So I think it's a, great time to focus on like who and what you're giving to, and making sure that you're giving to the right things and not the wrong things. And I would definitely pay attention to that here, Taurus. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords sees clearly for the first time. And this retrograde, the whole month of November, all the readings have been talking about great clarity. So it seems to me like people could be gaining a lot of clarity in all areas of life. And again, Mercury retrograde can absolutely bring us answers based off of anything that we've been doing or anything that we've been working on. And so that, that could be happening here. I also kind of feel like you're more like seeing through your connections. She kind of has like X-ray vision. She understands people's intentions, like what they want out of a connection and all that other stuff. And so I would definitely be, trusting your X-ray vision on people, because if you get a weird feeling about a person, it's probably true, right? And I would trust that. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Two of Swords. It's like you do know what to do, Taurus. Two of Swords is kind of like saying, I don't know what to do, even though you do. So I think you need to trust that you know what to do. She needs to go to this island behind her she's thinking that her only options are this or that, but really she has this third option over here. And number one, with the Two of Swords, we have to trust our intuition. Blindfolds in the tarot represent our intuition. So she needs to listen to her inner voice, and she needs to maybe take time to like meditate and pay attention. It's also time for her to leave. She is sitting on this marble bench, and it's meant to be represent something that's hard, that hurts. Her ass hurts sitting here on this bench. She's been doing the same thing for too long. King of Pentacles, card of convention, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's time to change is basically what that card's saying. Your outcome is very good. You have the Ten of Cups, which is fortune after difficulty, happy home, happy family. I wouldn't really call this a love reading yet. That might change in a minute, but what I would say here is that the Ten of Cups is a very positive outcome. The readings have looked very happy. Like a lot of people have had these messages of happiness and feeling happy. So, I think focusing on what makes you happy would be a good idea with the Ten of Cups. But let's see what is coming up for you. That sucked, Taurus. You didn't even see that, but it was terrible. With the King of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. So Eight of Swords can represent keeping yourself stuck in a situation. And again, Two of Swords, same thing. She also has this blindfold on. Again, the whole reading is really saying to me that you can get to the same outcome in life, but it just is going to look different. And really, that's what I feel with the Eight of Swords, is that there's like a different outcome. Let's see. With the Four of Cups, you have the Hermit. Yeah, the Hermit says you have learned, right? It's like if you're about to repeat something, which a lot of people during this Mercury retrograde have been getting these messages of potentially kind of like repeating something. That, again, that does not mean like a relationship or something. I feel like you're taking advantage of an opportunity again. The Four of Cups, like I said, he's not accepting the opportunity because he's afraid he's going to make a mistake again. But the Hermit has learned everything he needs to learn from climbing this mountain, from, going through a dark night of the soul. And so I feel this is saying like it's time for you to try doing something again. With the Chariot, you have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is about carrying a heavy burden. Yes, that could be why you're leaving something behind. If there's something in your life that causes too much of a burden or too much heavy weight, he's carrying these 10 wands, and he needs to release some of those wands. Not necessarily all of the wands, because those wands represent his harvest, and he's very close to achieving his goal. But he needs to keep going. He needs to also look at those wands, because some of them might be obligations that don't belong to him. And with the Chariot, if this guy here were to lighten the load, that Chariot would probably move a lot faster. And, I feel like again, you have that card that says timing is important. I don't feel like you're out of time, but I definitely feel it's like time to get moving, and it's time to make sure that you're focusing on yourself, like I already said. With the Page of Cups, you have the Devil. Definitely could be eliminating something toxic. The funny thing that's popping into my head here, Taurus, is that this person doesn't even have to be alive, I don't even think this is only love for you. I think for some of you, maybe it is, but for others, I feel this could be like a parent or, like I said, a person who did something in your past that maybe you don't realize caused a blockage, right? It's like, I don't know, like I think that, people can say something to us when we're like 2 years old, and we live that trauma or that blockage for the rest of our lives if we don't pay attention, right? And so it's like, you never know. It's like maybe someone called you stupid for like an idea when you were 2 years old. And it's like, yeah, most 2-year-olds have bad ideas, of course. But, at the same time, now you're an adult. You're not 2 years old anymore. Your ideas are probably good. And so I feel like you're shedding these, traumas or what, I don't even know what to call that, but, these things that people have projected onto you. And this could be very big picture. This could be like a lot, you know what I mean? It's like, it might not even just be one person. There could be a lot of those stories that people have told you that you are releasing. And that's really what I feel there. With the King of Swords, you have the King of Swords. So, yes, you've been getting an older person with me, I'm pretty sure. So, There could be a King of Swords type person coming in for you if you want love. It could be someone who's older, who's more mature. It doesn't have to. I'm not the biggest fan of these two together. It doesn't mean that it can't work. It just means that, right now nothing is happening, which is fine. I mean, it's Mercury retrograde. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, again, this could be easily corrected. The message here is very simple. Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. Six of Pentacles says, do not feed the things that make you feel weak, right? He's giving to one person, not the other. And so it's pretty simple. Only give energy to people and the story in your head that makes you feel strong. And that's it. If you do that, you'll be fine. The Five of Pentacles all fives have very easy solutions in the tarot, and that's what I'd be paying attention to. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Two of Wands. Yeah, like, part of me feels good about this. Like, you're stepping into a new world. It's clear to me you're making a change. Chariot, it's like you're moving away from something. As far as closest relationships are concerned, he has the opportunity to make new friendships or new connections in general. He needs to leave a comfort zone, which the whole entire reading is saying. Eight of Swords, Two of Swords, Chariot a little bit. Chariot, he is moving forward. So, I'm not too worried about it for you, Taurus. It's like you are making the changes necessary to get out into the world. The Two of Wands is also about taking the lead. So anything you can take the lead on would probably be very good for you and would probably, lead to you standing out, which I think you need to right now because, this showing up in this position really says that it's almost like you need to make new connections. And maybe it's people who tell you a better story about yourself, right? Maybe it's people who really lift you up or make you feel more successful. With the Two of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups, the boogeyman, the monster that lives under your bed here, Taurus, with the Two of Swords. It's like, he is imagining good things and bad things on this card. But with the Two of Swords, it's like you want an outcome, like she does. She wants a different outcome, but with the Seven of Cups, she might be thinking like, oh, if I, go do that thing, if I start that business, or if I start that relationship, or if I, make that change in my life, then, what monster is under the bed, right? There are good things and bad things here. And so it's like something good could happen, but she's also afraid of a monster that doesn't exist. So, the reading itself is asking you to, like, take the risk of, seeing if there's anything under your bed, right? And, it's almost like you have your feet dangling over the edge of the bed and you keep pulling them back. You're like, oh my God, something's gonna reach out and grab me from under the bed. That's how I feel about this here, Taurus. Here you go. With the Ten of Cups, you have the World. It's like you have everything to gain, is what this reading is saying to me. The World is, a major accomplishment. It's a major achievement. It is everything you want and desire. And, I think you really need to go for it here. And, maybe facing some fears or putting yourself out there more or taking risks is what you need to do. We don't really see any risk cards here necessarily, but, it's kind of popping into my head. You have this Goldfish. It says increase in material wealth and spiritual growth. I think spiritual work would be very good for you, especially like meditating, tapping into your intuition. With the Two Swords cards here, the Eight of Swords and Two of Swords, they want you to like really listen to what your inner voice is saying, but could be a lot of abundance if you do it. You have this desk. It says pay attention to your work. But I also kind of feel this is just saying you're paying attention to yourself. Like I said, it's like if you, and I think I've said this to you before, if you would just like always put yourself first right now, I really think that's what would put your life, kind of like advance your life the most. It's like I said, I think when we worry about people's judgments or when we kind of like lean back on an old fear that someone told us that we have to be afraid of something, again, we're giving that person power. We're not giving ourselves the power. And, that's really the work that you should be doing. You have this eagle. It says triumph over obstacles. It came out with the shield card that says you need to defend yourself. I don't think you need to defend yourself. I think you just need to have boundaries. And, that could even mean having boundaries with people who are dead, right? People in your life, from your past that aren't even in your life anymore. But you definitely could be overcoming some obstacles here with these cards, which is good. You have this Gong card. It says an exciting event. If you go to that island on the Two of Swords, it's like you have everything to gain. Not very much to lose. So with that Two of Swords, right? Seven of Cups, I always say with the Seven of Cups, like, don't cheat yourself out of something that could be very good for you. Sometimes I think we make excuses with the Seven of Cups. Like, we say there's a monster under my bed that doesn't exist. So, I feel this is saying, allow yourself to have a win. You have this finger. It says, warning you of a problem either now or in the future. Yes, right now it is critically important until like May, like I said, that we do not ignore things that pop up. It's much, much better, especially during a Mercury retrograde, to take care of things right now. Like if you get a bill, something, if there's something you need to take care of with your car, take care of it now. Don't wait. But this looks pretty interesting here, Taurus. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your month.